What's up, everybody? This is kj52. Welcome to the kj52 podcast, episode number 16, a talk with DJ Aslan. This one is entitled "Get the Weight Off!" Exclamation point. I had a chance to hop on via Instagram Live with a good friend of mine from years, who's also a dope DJ, who's also a kids pastor, who also has made a pretty significant health transformation in the last year. And so I know a lot of y'all are trying to get your lives on track health-wise at the beginning of the year, so I thought this would be kind of a cool conversation. And I think realistically, I don't think we could nail the whole thing in one chat, so this is probably going to be a part 2 at some point. But all that to be said, if you guys like what you are listening to, head on over to patreon.com/kj52. That's patreon.com/kj52 and become a patron. That helps support and pay for the podcast. Obviously, this thing isn't free, and that helps me to pay for that. I put a ton of free music on there that you guys can check out and download. So, nothing to it but to do it. We're going to dive right on in. And, yeah, God bless y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful new year. So, I'll talk a little bit about my own fitness journey towards health and wellness. And when I say all this, it's just all with the idea. There he is.
Hey, yo.
What's going on? About time you joined.
Yeah, I think that worked.
Go. But I was talking a little bit about to all the peoples here, just a little bit about my own health journey and trying to get that straight. We are both pastors, and I thought it was interesting that the second fattest profession out there is pastors.
Yikes. Yikes.
Clergy members are the second fattest profession behind police officers.
Oh.
The two people put in society to protect us spiritually and physically. We're also too chunky to go chase them down. But anyway, I say that with the idea is that, you know, if our body is a temple, then we want to treat our temple accordingly. We wouldn't walk into church and just throw stuff up against the wall and just be like, yeah, no problem. But I think we also treat our temple not like it's a temple, more like a garbage dump. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that life.
What's that?
So I know that life.
Yeah, and me too. And this is the guy who's still dogged by that stupid Mountain Dew song 17 years later.
Oh, sorry, bro.
It's okay. You make your own bed in it. It's funny though, because I actually am sitting here in my office too. I have this picture that someone drew for me, and they highlighted the 3 most worth health choices I ever made in this sort of KJ highlight picture.
Wow.
And my 6-year-old walked in and he saw it and he's like, Dad, you don't drink that. You don't eat that. And I was like, son, let me tell you about a dark time many moons ago. But yeah, I'll jump in about my story in a minute. But I know this year has been really revolutionary for you.
For sure.
And kind of started with, I think, your own desire to kind of get things on track. But I know you also you hit me with a lot of questions too. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was around last year, I was 37, turning 38. And always been a somewhat skinnier dude. So when it came to food, I would just eat whatever I wanted. You know, I could be at my grandpa's house when I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, shooting hoops outside in his garage, and always go to the fridge and always find Coke and Pepsi. So I would down 3, 4, 5, 6 cans of soda every day, you know. And then later on in adult years, man, easily 2 or 3. I can't say it caught up to me like size-wise, even though the size was there. You know, it was probably pretty hard for me to get very, very big. But it was time. It was time to hit the switch. There's a little bit of something that really kicked it in. Yeah, I'm definitely children's pastor here in Simi Valley, California. But I also work at the studios in Hollywood. And so we did a 2-hour special where we worked for 2 weeks straight, building sets and working with carpenters and painters and all that. So for breakfast in the morning, right out the gate, one of the main guys was like, "Who's running the Tommy's Burgers? Double chili cheeseburgers for breakfast for like 2 weeks straight," because homie was buying. And so after those 2 weeks, you know, put me to about the middle of January, and which we're coming up on. And that's when I was like, dude, I am about to switch this up. And I knew who to hit up. I could hit up Jonah. I knew he's been doing some awesome, not only nutrition, but great workouts for years. We did the Air One tour, or the club, Air One Club.
Club Awesome.
Club Awesome, with 7 Time Down, and a bunch of other people and stuff. And KJ would grab some of the dudes, some of the youngins from 7 Time Down, and go work out with them. And they were beat. They came like crawling back on the ground, like, he got me. So I knew KJ was on some good stuff. So I knew who to hit up to say, okay, man, I'm ready to do this. And we had many conversations. I don't know how much you want to go into that, but.
Well, I think you're kind of selling yourself short, because obviously you've been a DJ for quite a long time. I mean, you started as a battle DJ way back in the day. I know you're in your late 30s. I'm now in my early 40s. But I think sometimes people that are in the music industry forget that this is like a contact sport, man. Like, it is a very, not that it's like super physical being in the music industry, but from an endurance standpoint, I mean, you're talking no sleep, get up, drive all day or fly all day, hit the ground, drive a couple more hours, set up, do your show, which might be an hour, tear down, rinse, repeat, start all over again. And I think what happens is, the problem is in the context of that is that, like, you're eating terrible. The food at the venue is usually not great. You're driving, so you're hitting fast food, and little by little, and you're trying to stay awake, so you're caffeinating yourself all the time, and it just becomes this hamster wheel. And it is one thing when you're in your 20s, when your metabolism runs super high and you got the world in your, in the palm of your hand. But if you want to have any sort of longevity in this industry, it's like your physical state, plays into this. And I think a lot of times we forget that. I mean, how many of our hip hoppers have died, just straight up died, not from anything gang related or shooting, just from literal physical health problems. You think about a guy like Fight Dog, who died from complications of diabetes. Look at Big Punisher, who essentially, I hate to say it, ate himself to death. Look at who's the one that just passed away just recently? Sean.
I think Heavy D. I want to say Heavy D.
D.
Complications.
The guy's name is Heavy D. You know what I'm saying? Like, I say all this way. The idea is, so if you are in the music industry, especially if you're like a front man, like, just standing there will not cut it. Like, and the one thing I hear all the time is, like, I had no idea you were as old as you are. I could never keep up with you on stage. And I'm like, yes, you could if you chose to. You know what I'm saying? And the point is that I started maybe almost 5 years ago, maybe even almost close to 10 years ago, was realizing, like, I had to start training for the stage. But not only that, is like the physical, like, repercussions of my life of literally living off a Coke fried cheeseburger and Mountain Dew was catching up to me, where I was constantly getting sinus infections, constantly sick, lethargic. And I ballooned, for me to balloon to like 215 pounds is pretty big. Like, I'm like you, like, I've always been skinny. I've always had a high metabolism, but I noticed once I started hitting my 30s, like, I was getting the paunch. And I look back on those pictures, because those pictures are like my promo shots. Like, my whole life is on the internet for the last 17 years. It's like, I can see my chunky phases, you know what I mean? And it's hard for me to look at that, even though it's captured forever. I knew if I was going to survive into my 30s, into my late 30s, and into my 40s, physically, I not only would have to be in as good a shape as someone in their 20s, I'd have to be better. So I started making changes in the way that I ate. Also, my son, who is diagnosed with ADHD, we didn't want to, put him on medicine. So I realized, like, some of diet cannot eliminate ADHD, but it can control it better.
For sure.
And to be honest with you, like, again, from a spiritual standpoint, Paul says physical training is of some value. So there is some value to that, but I realized, like, everything I was doing wrong. I thought, like, what everybody's probably doing right now with the New Year's resolutions is, I want to lose weight. They join the gym, they go in there, they run on the treadmill for an hour. They get frustrated, they give up, and they walk away. And I realized I was doing the same thing. I used to go run for 45 minutes thinking if I perform for 45 minutes, then running for 45 minutes will translate. I wasn't losing any weight. All that to be said. So I found out what worked for me without any use of drugs, without any use of, like, supplements, no weird crash diets. Even though I tried a bunch of crazy stuff, I realized, like, it's really a pretty easy fix. And I noticed that you've kind of come to the same point too, because I would consider both of us what they call hard gainers. It's hard for us to show muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
think that's just genetically in the way my body is built. But also, I just don't have time to sit in the gym for an hour, 2 hours. I don't want to look like that. It's too monotonous. So like I changed my workouts and even learned, I bought a book called Eat This, Not That, how to eat on the road. That really helped a lot. But what's like something this year that maybe two things that you've realized out of your, your transformation in this year?
I mean, the biggest eye openers for sure. And this is the thing that I never put together. I never put together working out smart and eating well and eating some good nutrition, some real food. I never put it together. And so I would be that teenager that would get the membership at the gym and try to go bench press, for a couple weeks or whatever. I was just, and that was whatever. Like, so I would just go eat, or I would go work out a little bit to try and eat, or drink some white mochas, knock out a couple white mochas and, an evening or something like that. So I never put it together. And of course that's huge. What you're going to get out of that is huge. But on the food side, I mean, the food side has been awesome. The food side, I think, has been my strongest. Even though I put in work with the working out, with, KJ and I talk about it all the time, but, I hit up some insanity videos, I do a bunch of different Tabatas, I do a bunch of stuff on some free stuff on YouTube, a lot of body weight exercises besides some weights. But my strongest push in all of this has been hitting the switch on food and making that choice. And I kind of just posted a little bit recently about it. Through the month of December, I had probably 3 girly drinks. Hopefully that's not taken the wrong way, or food drinks from Starbucks. I had 3 of those. And I want to say the whole year of 2017, I didn't have any starting around January, February. I didn't have any. I mean, I knew how much sugar was in there, and I cut out so much stuff anyways. And that was, I used to have easily 3 or 4 a week. If not, when I was younger and single, I would have 1 a day, which is ridiculous. Right. So really hitting the switch and having the power and the drive to be like, nope, I really don't want to eat cookies. I really don't want that sugar. I really don't want, I wasn't big on just the cheat stuff. You know what I mean? I wasn't there. So I wasn't going to make myself like, well, I can have a cheat day, or I can't have a cheat meal. I can't have a cheat this. Something changed big time. So I hit the switch and said, I don't really want any of that sweet stuff anymore. And man, that was huge. And even just doing it over December, just so many Christmas parties and all that kind of stuff. To me now, it's not even worth it. They're not even, man, it's not it. I don't have much that's that full on cheat dessert that I'm like really craving for. So, which is good.
Did you feel like you were almost detoxing from that addiction?
Yeah, the first 3 or 4 months for sure. But it wasn't it was never strong. Like, ooh, I got to go get that, or ooh, that would taste really good right now. It wasn't that. And, I think there was a big physical part of that. Calls coming in. Sorry about that. If I wasn't working out, and when I say working out, I mean, gosh, a lot of it, was just body weight exercises. I didn't go to the gym for the first 5 months. I didn't go to a gym at all. I was outside on a basketball court for the first 5 months, sweating in the morning sun. If it wasn't for that, I would have been all over it. And like I said, I never put the two together.
I think, so this is obviously might be a 2 or 3 parter, but I think one thing, just to maybe smash a couple myths, especially for guys over 30. I think this is probably like super important. I think for guys over 30, we're fix it. We want to fix things. We want, insert A, out pops B. That's, give it to us in the most simple way possible.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is that the one thing we feel like we can control is, well, I'll go run or I'll do some push-ups or whatever. And I think that's the myth, is that most of your weight loss and most of turning your health around, 80% of it is what you eat.
Yes.
20% is probably how you exercise. We get it the other way around. We think let me do 80% of my workout so I can eat whatever I want for the 20%. And the reality is it just doesn't work like that. You will not lose weight. I mean, one real simple way to lose weight is to keep yourself in what's called a 500 calorie deficit. And this is the number one way. And for those that don't know, like there was a point where I was like actually certified as a personal trainer. Not that I ever used it. I really just bought it. I just became that to learn more. Yeah. But what I realized was that unless you log your food, unless you literally get, and if you have MyFitnessPal, it's freaking awesome. Yes. Go get MyFitnessPal and just spend a week logging what you eat. And you would be surprised when you start to realize, like, holy crap, I'm taking in like 500 grams of sugar and like 100 grams of protein. And it's obvious why you can't lose weight, because your whole diet is based around sugar. Yeah. And sometimes, like, I remember you coming to me and going, dude, I can't seem to put on any muscle. Like, I can't seem to, you know, I'm eating right, but I can't seem to put on any muscle. And you sent me like your numbers, and I looked at it and I was like, you're still getting too much sugar. Like, you have to shift the amount of carbohydrates you're getting and start adding more protein. And you're like, how do I add more protein? Well, it's very simple. You either, you know, start having protein shakes, or, you know, basically try to shoot for a goal of 100 grams of protein per body weight. Because again, these are all things that I went through, and it's not that it helps you get like big and bulky, because that's a totally different thing, but it does. You'll start to see the abs start to come out. You'll start to see the gut start to shrink. And for men, it's a little easier than women, but the other thing I know too is that a lot of our workouts are done with the idea was the more calories I burn, the more fat I'll lose. And it really doesn't work like that either. That's why I love doing Tabata workouts, because, and if you are curious about this, Marissa says, what should I eat and stuff to lose weight and keep it off? Okay. Well, that might have to be a part 2, but Tabata workouts are great because they go after the fat parts of your body and burn those. They're very small. They're basically, the idea is go high intensity, short amount of time. And that really tends to change the body metabolism, but it doesn't fix it, because you can do that and still be overweight. You can do that and still be out of shape. You can do that. And a lot of times people do it and they don't change their diet and they just get discouraged and they give up. But Marissa said, what should I eat and stuff to lose weight and keep it off? So I think we'll probably end with this. I'll share some of the things that I got rid of. And you can maybe share some of the things that you got rid of, and we'll probably come back and do a part 2. But the guy goes, wait, you're a fitness trainer? I said, no, I got certified. I am not. I have trained a few people, but I never was like, I never joined like Planet Fatness, as I call it, Planet Fitness. I can tell you 5 things that I cut out from an eating standpoint that I've never gone back to. 5 things that I've gotten rid of. And if you want to lose weight or get in shape, you just can never go back to these 5 things. Like, it's a lot of people go, oh, well, can I? And it's like, no, just, you got to kiss it goodbye. You can never come back to it. 1, soda. Don't ever go back to soda. There's literally nothing in soda that has any sort of value for you. Don't touch it. Don't drink diet sodas. They're just as bad, if not worse. Number 2, get rid of juices out of your life. Okay, this is a myth that we think if we drink juice, it's healthy. It's actually the opposite. The sugar content in juice is almost equivalent to a soda. Okay, and you got rid of all the the fiber. Sorry, exactly. Yeah. So get rid of juice. Maybe way down the road you can come back to juice for a little bit. It's fine. But the idea of juice and detox juices and cleansing is a myth. Number 3, get rid of granola. There's nothing in granola that you need to eat unless you're a freaking mountain hiker and you're going up 700 miles into the Andes. You do not need granola. Get rid of granola. 4, get rid of bagels. Bagels are bread covered with bread. Okay. The amount of carbohydrates in a bagel is massive. And then there's a few more I would say, but my 5th one would be say get rid of white bread. Don't touch it. Don't go back to it. Don't use it. Don't eat white rice. Don't eat white bread. It's processed. It's not the way the bread should look. It's loaded with sugar. Usually it's corn syrup. Get rid of those 5 things, and you will see at least a basic beginning of, because that's mostly where a lot of us get our sugar from. Juices, sodas, white bread. What was the other one I said? Granola. Maybe not granola, but and then and big chunky bread products like bagels. Go ahead.
Man, I think the easiest way for me is, or to jump on this, is to say my daily things that I eat. Is that all right?
Yeah. I mean, so I told you 5 things don't eat. Why don't you talk about 5 things you do eat?
There we go. So let's go beverages. Water and black coffee.
Boom.
Water and black coffee.
All you
water.
ever
I
need.
mean, water, and you know, if you keep up with your workouts, there you go. I got some black coffee right here, just some nice simple ground beans, water and black coffee. If you keep up with your workouts, you got to be drinking that water anyways. And so that's all I'm drinking, water and black coffee. I did do a little bit of green tea at the beginning. It's just not the daily thing. I'll throw it in when I can. I try to really dig in and find out about protein. There's all these different breakdowns, all these different kinds of proteins. So get some simple proteins every day. So that could be some eggs, even though you may have to watch it a little bit, some straight up eggs, some straight up chicken breasts, some tuna. If you got to grab some tuna cans, eat some tuna cans for sure. Of course, if you can go turkey, and I even go some really low fat beef. I got no problems getting some low fat as possible beef for those proteins. Man, that
Protein for the protein.
proteins with proteins. And then on top of that, for snacks, if you used to eat chips and granola bars and all that, see if you can just do a little switch to raw vegetables. I mean, it's still crunchy. It's crunchy like chips. Grab some carrots. I eat raw broccoli. I know people hate broccoli. Your taste buds are going to change. Your taste buds are just going to change if you jump into all of this. So eat some raw broccoli. I had some over here.
Ofe said no fish. I would definitely say fish. Ofe threw in there. He said no fish, question mark. I'd say fish, but you got to make sure the fish is wild caught, because a lot of the fish that we eat is farmed, and it's actually really bad for you. This farm tilapia stuff that they put out there. So look for wild caught fish. Wild caught albacore tuna is good, and so is salmon, but make sure it's wild caught and not farmed. Sorry, go ahead.
That's gonna be full of protein right there, and then a bunch of other amino acids and all this kind of stuff in the fish. On the back to the vegetables, raw peppers, like the different colors of red and yellow, orange peppers. They're sweet peppers. They're sweet to me now. I used to hate peppers. But yes, raw vegetables for snacks. They barely have any calories to them. You're getting a bunch of vitamins out of them. I went to the dentist and she said, okay, what are you taking? Meds? Nothing. What vitamins are you taking? And I said, I'm taking food for vitamins. I get a bunch of vitamins out of raw fruit and raw vegetables. Your health is going to change big time. I used to
and stop cooking your vegetables.
Yeah, don't even cook them. I mean, I don't cook them. It takes
drain out all the nutrients.
You could eat, yes. You, all the nutrients that you're supposed to get from them, you're going to lose a lot of it. And it's easier to grab and go with raw. I just throw some in the Ziploc bag or the Tupperware, grab and go. Those are my snacks. I used to get some major migraines all the time from all that sugar and from whatever else. I used to get major migraines. I used to have to drink a Dr. Pepper to try to knock out the stupid migraine that I had from, obviously just a rotating mouse wheel of just headache, sugar. That has gone away. If I've ever gotten the slightest bit of a headache this last year, it's really dissipated, just kind of gone pretty fast. It's never been as hardcore as a migraine. Obviously, that everybody's different, but it's been a huge thing for me to get rid of those migraines. It used to knock me out.
She just dropped the question in here. She said, is there a schedule you follow for working out, KJ, or do you just do anything when working out? Absolutely not. I used to just do anything and got nowhere. I'm now down to only working out about 3 times a week. But the intensity level that I do it is so high that I probably can't do it more than 3 times a week. Now, that's not to say I just sit around for the other 4 days. I'm active on the other days. It's just that I do a very intense Tabata workout 3 days a week, sometimes 4. But if you can do Tabata workouts more than 4, you're not doing them right. You shouldn't only be able to do them. So we can maybe talk about Tabata on the next one. But if you get a chance, just look up, Google search the Tabata method. It's a super simple way. It takes the guesswork out of your workouts. It probably will leave you throwing up at the end. I'm joking. But for me, I hated counting reps. I didn't like figuring out how much weight I was supposed to do. I do body weight for the most part in Tabata. And it works better for me at my age because a lot of people like to join CrossFit or they join, some big built body, heavy working out thing. A lot of problems with the CrossFit and stuff like that is they're cheering you on to do 100 100 kettlebell lifts. You don't need to do 100 kettlebell lifts. You shouldn't do 100 kettlebell lifts.
Yeah.
Unless you're a freaking CrossFit star, you know what I mean?
Right.
But with Tabata, you're only going to be able to do as much as you can in that set of time. So I am specific about the workouts that I do, but I only do them about 3 days a week. And to be honest with you, that's really all you need to do. That's something I remember when we had this conversation, because you were like, yo, man, I'm running a mile every day, 2 miles every day, and I'm doing insanity, and I'm going to the gym. I can't figure out why I can't put on any muscle mass. I'm like,
too much.
You realize how much I was like, you're completely overdoing it. You're on your way to an injury.
Yeah.
But a lot of times our mentality is like, if we do more, we'll get more results. And it's actually counterintuitive, but you can actually do less at a higher intensity and get more results.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be smart about it. I was never smart about working out at all. I mean, that was a lot of my bounce back to KJ back and forth was just getting schooled on all these styles of working out. You just gotta kind of change up your mindset of like exactly what he was talking about. So many people think I can go do a bunch of cardio. If you really want to burn fat, you got to do something different. You can't jump on that treadmill or the bike. I mean, there's different ways, but if you want to burn fat and in a good steady way, I mean, I lost 25 pounds. I mean, I'm not very big. I was at 175. The lowest I clocked in at was 148. So I almost lost 30 pounds of just sugar. I probably had like 10 pounds in my face. It was so crazy. The last time KJ saw me here in California, he's like, "You looking like a little boy, man," because I mean, I was looking like the dad with the big face and just chunky jowls like a big old dog or whatever. And there's a bunch of fat there in the face that you can really lose.
So I think someone just jumped out again and they said, what's the program or app that you follow? If I had to coach somebody right now, this is what I would say, especially if they're just starting out. What I would do was I would say the simplest things you can do is a sprint, a push-up, and a sit-up.
Sure.
That's literally just 3 simple things, right? If you do a sprint in a Tabata format, for those who know what Tabata is, it's 20 seconds all out, 10-second rest, 20 seconds again, 10-second rest. You do it 8 times. That sounds like nothing, but you should be dead by the time that's done, okay?
Sprint, real
you
sprint,
can do a sprint
not
like
a jog.
that in the Tabata. That will be your cardio. You can do it as a push-up in the Tabata. That will be your upper body. You can do a sit-up as your Tabata. That will be your core. You've hit legs, core, and upper body all in the same thing. Now, that's a very simplified version. Obviously, it doesn't hit everything, but that's a great place to start. Now, if you're like, I can't even do a push-up, no problem. Go to the wall and do the push-up against the wall. If he's like, well, I can kind of do a push-up and then I'm going to get tired, then do a halfway push-up. Just elevate yourself up. There's a million ways you can fix that. The thing is with body weight, if you're older, body weight is good because your body will shut down before it can injure itself. Meaning your muscles will fill with lactic acid. You can't do anymore.
Yeah.
Another myth I think we should probably throw out is get off the freaking machines, okay? The machines in the gym they're not that they're useless, but for the average person, you will not get the workout you need. And when you're doing a machine, you're being assisted by the machine. If you do free weights at a low weight and body weight, your chances of injury are much less. But the problem is when you do a free weight, not the problem, but the benefit of free weight is you're using all different kinds of muscles to stabilize that weight versus a machine. Yeah. So what do most people do on their resolution? They go get on the treadmill for an hour, the bike for an hour, then they go do a couple machines, and then that's it. And then they're done by the 3 weeks.
Seriously.
So Sparkle said, do you hit all 3 every day? I hit all 3. I don't hit it every day. Absolutely not. I do 3 times a week, but I do full body workouts. That more came out of necessity because I was always in hotels and I didn't know when I was going to have access to everything.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But, I've done P90X. I've done P90X2. I've done Insanity. I've done Game Day. I've done all those. While those are good, those are super high cardio. And they don't really build muscle mass.
Right.
You will lose some weight, but honestly, most people should not be working out hard cardio for an hour straight. You don't need to.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who did all those, took a look at myself about a month later. I'm like, I don't think I've barely lost anything, if that makes sense. But I get it. It's good. If that's all you have and that helps guide you, go for it. More power to you. Just keep in mind, most of your change is 80% what you eat.
Yep.
And don't follow the stupid P90X meal guide. It costs like $400 to follow that meal guide.
Ooh.
It's not even worth it.
You know what I've seen, man, throughout this whole last year? People do want that system. And for anyone checking this out right now, people want that system. They're saying, okay, what plan are you doing for food? They like, what's the name of it? What's the name of that plan are you doing for food? What's the name of the thing you're doing for workout? And I think we have to get away from that mentality a little bit. I think we have to really just make it lifestyle. When it comes to food, it's got to turn into lifestyle. It's got to be, I hit that switch. It turns into lifestyle. KJ made it so simple for me. He said, eat what God made. If God made it, if this junk came from the ground, get it.
Eat it.
So simple,
that's
the most natural form.
If you ever have a question, if God made it, eat it. If man made it, don't eat it. In fact, someone just asked me, what are your thoughts on Shakeology and other types of protein meal replacement shakes? Freaking waste of money.
Yeah, it's probably expensive.
And all that is a multi-level marketing scheme to suck you and to keep you in. You don't need 300 pounds of nutrients in one shake. Your body will just crap it out. Okay? In fact, when people go, oh, I got a 45-gram protein shake for you, your body can only absorb about 30 grams of that. So do I take protein shakes? Yeah, but I'll tell you what I take. It's just to give me a little extra protein. I take an organic plant 20-gram protein shake. I mix it with some almond milk, and that's it. I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Blue Frog said, with hope to share. Judge much? Yes, absolutely. You asked me the question, I am judging it. Get off that stuff.
Yeah.
I did it. I wasted my money with it. It's just not worth it.
It's not needed at all. Yeah. You don't have to even hit if you're stuck and you got to hit a Jamba and try and get something real, the less sugar Jamba or whatever, fine if you're stuck. But man, you can make way better stuff at home. And you need some bananas and some almond milk and stuff. And if you find a cheap, I use Orgain. I think KJ used the same one. Orgain, I get it from Costco. It's a veggie-based protein powder. It tastes good. There's chocolate and vanilla and whatever. It's going to be cheaper than hitting all those spots.
Yes.
It's really not needed.
And this
you
is
can
the
do
guy
so much on your own.
Juice, tropical smoothie. Oh, hey. Thank you, Patty. Appreciate that.
Something's going down in the office there. There we go.
Sorry.
We are working. We are at work. So, yeah, we had to handle that.
Someone said, what's a chance for a recipe for a good protein shake? Okay, get some protein powder, mix it with almond milk. You're done. That's it. Okay?
That's it.
It's not a complex thing. Here's what happens when people go, oh, I'm going to make this amazing meal replacement protein shake. This is the problem. If you take a banana, blend the whole thing up. You take orange juice, you blend that all up. You stick a protein shake in there, you blend it all up. You have now just drank probably upwards to 500 to 700 calories, and most of that is sugar.
Yeah.
Okay? This is why juicing is a terrible idea. Okay? Because you wouldn't sit down and eat 7 oranges at once, but you can put 7 oranges in a juicer and drink it.
Yeah.
John
simplify.
Shakeology. He goes, my girlfriend tried Shakeology. She's about to sleep on the couch. Her farts were horrible.
Hey, that may happen anyways. If you start getting this natural stuff, that may happen.
It could happen, yes. This shout out to the vegans. I'll say nothing else. Anyway, this is obviously tons of information. We can't deal with it all in one thing. I got actual work to do, and I'm sure you do too. We will do a part 2 on this, and you guys can actually shoot me an email with, if you do have questions, I will put it on the next podcast. It's really easy to remember. It's just kj52 at kj52.com. kj52 at kj52.com. Quan59 is in there. He said when you take pizza. Shout out to Quan. All right, you guys. We love y'all. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Peace out. up, all Sweezy? It's 5 Tweezy. So put me on the track, man. Hey yo, check it. Hey yo, no on the microphone if you ain't knowing of me. I'm flowing a vocal tone like my nose is runny. By now you should know the homie. All Swizzle, but I'ma just call him Rodney. The way back when Jesus calling on me, I used to think, man, I'm sorta godly. But here's the thing that God went and taught me. It's like saying, well, here's a clean porta potty. Still rolled up, pursuing on me. Had me all folded up like some origami. But now the Holy Spirit pouring on me ever since Jesus went and started holding on me. Daily, the flesh warring on me. Like Hellboy going up against the Golden Army. But now even if I choose wrongly, still his, ever since I knew he got me.